Gange yenze Master Parrot nganva mu Uganda Musicians Association ate nga nze Director of Membership. Ensonga endeese twawulidde mbu mu Ministry of Gender bagenda kuvaayo bilioni 18 ng'ezo ssente zonna zigenda kubeera nga zigenda mu Federation. N'olwekyo ensonga etuleese oba endeese kwe kutangazaamu gavumenti yaffe oba bekikwatako nti ezo ssente nyingi nnyo okugenda mu Federation ng'emu. Ssente ezo zirina kugenda mu ba stakeholders bonna bekikwatako omuli UMA ne domains zonna endala, omuli ba dancers, omuli bazanyi ba firimu n'abantu ab'enjawulo beesogeddeeko aba drama. N'olwekyo tusaba gavumenti essente ezo ebe ng'esooka eziyimirizeemu esooka erabe wa awatuufu wezigenda okugenda, kubanga ffenna nga bannabitone ba stakeholders ffenna tuzeetaaga okulaba nga twekulaakulanya mu bitone byaffe. N'olwekyo tekigenda kuba kirungi ssente ezo okugenda mu Federation ate nga ba stakeholders abalala tebafunye ssente ezo.
My name is Enyasu Andrew. I am the chairperson of Uganda Musicians Association, TESO Cluster or TESO Region. TESO is comprised of 12 districts, if we include partly Tororo. Yeah, so the reason why I'm recording this video is one, we have heard government is planning to release 18 billion to support musicians in Uganda. And this comes following the communication that His Excellency, the President of Uganda, Museveni, gave in one of his speech earlier this year, where he said he wants to embark on supporting the music industry. So this money is supposed to be given to benefit artists, because all artists suffered like any other person during the pandemic of COVID-19. Now, the unfortunate bit about this money is the money is supposed to be given to a group of individuals that barely represent the entire number of artists in the country. And this may not actually support most artists in Uganda. So we want to urge the government to work close and hand in hand with Uganda Musicians Association, which has a tune of 10,000 registered artists and more that are still registering, because recently we have streamlined and strengthened again our structures up to the regional level, where we have substructures that report to the main administrative structure. Our President, Madam Cindy Sanyu, is working tirelessly with the Secretary General to see that musicians in Uganda can be also looked at as important people of the society and supported equally. Recently, we had the regional consultative meeting on the amendment of the copyright law, which was conducted in all regions. I happened to have participated, and I felt good representing my region and all the people who were able to turn up. Now, this time that this support from government has started appearing and coming, government has considered supporting musicians. We would not want the money to go to hands that will not deliver the money to the entire population of the artists in the country, and ends up getting squandered to their own selfish and personal interests. Like recently, I hear they are sleeping in hotels, so they are eating well, taking beer, and so on. So they are planning to allot about 3.5 billion Uganda shillings to cater for their stay in those hotels, drinking of beer, eating of food, and so on, at the expense of the musicians of Uganda. Remember, government has already allotted 18 billion. So government will come, we gave 18 billion to the musicians of Uganda. But here, 3 billion was used by the particular group of people. And who knows where the 14 billion will still end up. It will end up in their own circle. Uganda Musicians Association has structures not of relatives and friends, structures of musicians of the country that serve the people of this nation. So we appeal to the government and the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni, please sit down with our Huma heads, like our president of Uganda Musicians Association, Madam Cindy Sente, and her cabinet. If possible, you can also invite those people who claim to be representing the musicians, and we come to a conclusive decision on how musicians will all benefit with these resources that the government is going to give.
Ndimu enyamivu eri gavumenti era ntuusa omulanga gwange eri gavumenti okubeera nga ekwata ssente ezandiyambye abaana ba art omuli abayimbi ba DJ ba producer abazanyi ba firimu nezikwata neziwaka gurupu akatono nnyo mukwata mutya biliyoni 8 nemuziwaka gurupu akatono nnyo akatalina kikayamba abayimbi katalina kikayamba ba producer katalina kikayamba baana bazanyi ba firimu. Ndimu enyamivu nnyo eri gavumenti muveeyo omuyamba abaana omuntu n'atuuka n'okufa nga taganyuddwa mu music we omuntu n'akola ebintu ebiyamba eggwanga ne gavumenti ne mutayamba abantu abo kati mukwata mutya ssente ezo mpulira nga ndimu enyamivu nnyo gye muli gavumenti muveeyo muyamba abaana muveeyo muyamba abantu.
Of course, I've heard about the 18 billion that a group of artists, I understand, staying somewhere in the hotel, have asked government to give them. And believe me, that is very diverse. Because you know what, 18 billion could do so much. I am chairman, Uganda Musicians Association's Lango cluster. And I was there when the COVID stimulus fund was released. And believe me, over 10,000 musicians we have in the country. I do not know how many people benefited. There were a few that went and performed on the TV, but really how many people did benefit from? Very few. And so it is important that when such a huge amount of money is being allocated, it should be, allocated through the set structures, because there are so many stakeholders in as far as the creative industry is concerned. There are so many stakeholders on the value chain. And so when you give that money to a group of people with maybe no structures up to the grassroots, for me, speaking from my area, I know that money will be swindled, will be shared within a few, and the industry will remain the same next year and in the years to come. Yet money keeps coming into the industry. So I plead with the government and the people in the authority to really channel this money through the set structures which have the stakeholders and in the value chain. This is very important because music industry really and the creative industry in general is such a crucial economic driver that really needs attention. And even if money is there to be used, really, it shouldn't be wasted. Let us, navigate this very well. Because for me, I have no problem with the money being given. My problem is that it always never gets to the bottom. It never addresses the problems that we are having. So in the end, it ends up not getting the transformational value that the government expects from us.
I am Second Godfrey, a member of WUMA, and I'm in Kakumiro cluster. I'm here to present our dissatisfaction over the issue that we are hearing in our ears that is going on. That is about the 18 billion shillings that is going to come from the President's office over the issue of COVID, going to the people who were affected during COVID period, and especially the musicians and artists. We are not happy about what we are hearing, that the money is going to go into the hands of the few artists who claim to be I don't know whether they are masters of what, but the money should come to the local artists and all artists all over the country. All of us were affected, not a few people. So we need that money to come and benefit everybody that is an artist, a musician. We very well know that UMA has been there and has got structures that can reach out to everybody. But if the money goes to the few, we shall not benefit. For us in Kakumiro, we are over 200 musicians, actually artists, but they are also DJs, they are MCs. All those people were affected under COVID, and they should be reached out to. So we really beg that people who are concerned come out to sort out this issue. Money should not go to a few people who seem to be greedy over money issues.
Mwenayo bana Uganda mwesizana masino gose bananga mugoya Tom Moses aka Tommy Teacher the Honorable. Isenio General Secretary wa Uganda Musicians Association Elgon Cluster. Uma niono chibina chichigata bana bitone bosizana mu Uganda yose bana bitonenga bana mwenya ba DJ ba talent promoters babinyayi bezi cinema etc. I think we should call it the primary stakeholders of the entertainment industry. And I think let me totally switch to English because this is a national issue. It is a cause for all artists. So I need this information to reach everyone, reach all regions, or reach the concerned people. If we reflect a little bit back and remember the lockdown. After lockdown, after COVID-19, 90% of the artists in Uganda were left marginalized and vulnerable. So any blind man or even a blind government can realize and see that this sector needs a hand, needs assistance. I should thank the well-wishers who have extended a hand of help to artists, and I should commend the government for having that interest and intentions to support the entertainment industry. But how is it supposed to be done? It is supposed to be done through an association, through a body that is structured to reach everyone, to reach every stakeholder from the top to the grassroots. And that is what UMA has done. It has actually created structures of all artists. It has spread its roots and branches to the grassroots, to all regions altogether. Unfortunately, we're actually receiving news from the corridors of Uganda. We are receiving news that the government is ready to help. But there is a group of people, I should say, a group of individuals who have branded themselves as the association that takes all artists in Uganda. And I hear that association is it is actually in Kampala. So the question is, are the artists of Uganda only in Kampala? Are the artists of Uganda only branded by a group of a few individuals? So the artists of Uganda, the artists in Uganda are brought together by an association, that is UMA. We hear that this group of individuals has lobbied money from the government, and of which the government is almost ready to give, because the government has devoted to really give assistance. But this group of people has lobbied and they are ready to receive 18 billion, as in 18 billion. They have broken their budget down somehow. 18 billion, I think something like 15 billion to I don't know to do what, and then 3 billion to facilitate their eating and whatever, I don't know, but I'm only throwing a leaf on this government. The artists really need help, and if you're really to do this, these are the authority. This message goes to the authorities in the government, in charge of disbursing such money or giving such money to help, whether in terms of grant or loan, whichever assistance the government is to give, please bring it in the right channels. Let this money be delivered through the right channels to the right people who need this money, the artists. Tebaba fela, a very small group of individuals, oba abantu nga basatu batano tebaba fela.
Ezerwa Majojo William ndi muyimbi mu Greater Mubende ngera yenze vice chairman owa Mubende region Wuma. Ensonga endese mu kamera olunaku olwaleero y'ensonga ya ssente ezigenda okufulumizibwa oba okweyagaliza okufumbekedde mu music industry ya Uganda. Kirungi okuyamba music industry, naye ate ekiseera ky'okuyamba music industry ya Uganda kyali kya mabegeeri. Ekiseera kino tekyetaagisa olw'ensonga nti abayimbi beetegekera ebivvulu ebinene ate babategeka ne batwala n'emitala w'amayanja ne bakola ssente. Ekikulu obudde buno kuteekerateekera music industry butya bwe bagenda okufunamu ssente nga si kutaataaganya ssente ya mwewa musolo. Kitegeeza nti basobola okugamba nti ebitundu bwe bitaddemu ebitundu awanakuŋŋaanyizibwanga music n'ebifo ebirala, wabula si kukwata ssente kuyola ssente baziwa akabondo k'abantu ate abalina. Nga waliyo omuyimbi akyasula kasasiro, waliyo omuyimbi atalina ssente za studio, waliyo omuyimbi atalina ssente za promotion, waliyo DJ asuze enjala atalina kyakulya. Ssente bazikwata ate baziwa abo ate abalina. Akabondo kano okweyagaliza si kibi, naye kisusse. Uganda erina ebintu bingi, ebizibu bingi, amalwaliro tegalina ddagala, amasomero tegalina bikozesebwa, enguudo mbi. Music si kye kizibu kya Uganda. Bwe kiba nti omuyimbi omu ategeka ennakivu oba ennamboole oba ku kalenda oba wa n'afuna miliyoni 100, olwo Uganda oba gavumenti oba weetaaga omuntu oyo okuvaayo ate omwongeremu ssente endala. Abayimbi basobola okwetakulira, wabula ekituufu kiri nti kutereeza sisiteemu. Kumanya oba kale fayina akagaati kazze, buli muyimbi akafunyeeko atya. Si kola bukwakulizo mbu ate atali mu kino tajja kufuna ssente. Bwe muwanga mugabye ssente muzise mu bifo ebituufu we zigenda okutuukira ku muntu ali ku ground oba ku muyimbi yenna ali ku ground, thani okuziwa akabondoobondo ak'abantu ate nga kalina. Byebyo nno ensonga zange zeezo. Ensonga eziruma eggwanga si kuteeka ssente mu music. Music yeetakulira. Abasajja bafuna ebivvulu eby'amaanyi, bakola ssente nnyingi, ate okuteekawo kwandibaddewo naye bateekemu kyenkanyi, si kusosola mbu ate simanya bano baliwe bati bano baliwe bati. Olwo gavumenti eba teyambye. Tuba tugenze mu kye bayita politics okumuteeka mu music, ekitali kirungi. Lwekyo tusaba ekikwatako ekirungi mukikwase buvunaanyizibwa, kirina okunyigiriza muntu yenna mukole strategies abantu abagenda okufulira mu music thani okuwa ekibinja ate ekyabayina. Byebyo ebyange. Lwama Jojo William ndi muyimbi ate nga ndi member mu kibiina ekya Wuma Greater Mubende, ndi vice chairperson.
Mbalamusiza konyo basebo ne banyabo amayali dowoozi ntibadde on pound secretary Greater Mubende owa Wuma. Nina ensonga njagala okwogera katono nnyo eri gavumenti yaffe ya Uganda. Nkimanyi mutupulaninga nnyo, mutwagala nnyo nga abali mu entertainment industry. Naye olw'amawulire gempulira mbu gakyali mu nkuubo. Gavumenti epulaninga okuyirizinga obuwumbi 18 obuwumbi buno bugenda eri abali mu entertainment. Naye olw'akabondo k'abantu abatono ennyo abali mu kweyagaliza ssente ezo zigenda ate mu ngalo zaabwe, nga ku ssente ezo obuwumbi 3.5 babupulaningira ku byensula byabwe n'ebyokulya byabwe. Naye ng'ate jjukira Wuma yeetaaga kuzimba ekizimbe, just ekizimbe ekya abayimbi. nga kimu jasi buwumbi obu bubiri. Number 2, wuma ekibiina ekigatta abayimbi mu Uganda tulina greater gundi regions esukka mu 16. Sente zino bwe ziba nga zinayamba omuntu ali mu entertainment zandigenze mu regions ezo tulina zi circles. Sente zino ziyita mu circle nezituka ku buli muntu ali mu entertainment, omuli ba DJ, omuli bateeka bivulu ba promoters, ba producers, tuli bangi music entertainment si bayimbi bokka. So kino kivumendese kuvumirira yenna nganze tekigenda kuyamba government kirowoozeeko olebe sente zino nga tezigenda mu kabondo k'abantu abatono abeeyagaliza mbayita ba mafia. Sente zo zigende mu mitendera emituufu buli muntu ali mu entertainment aziganyulwemu.